This is a very quick briefing coming up of the special cabinet meeting that has just ended the first day. It's going to continue tomorrow. His Excellency, the President, His Excellency Joseph Imam Boakai, and Vice President Honorable Jeremiah Kwankun were both here for the entire day. Earlier on, as you know, the President started off his morning with the LTA program. There was a launch of an awareness on cybersecurity. And after that, the President came to attend this cabinet meeting. This meeting was key, especially it primarily focused on the budget portfolio or the resource portfolio of the country. We had a presentation from the team of the Ministry of Finance, Development Planning. Minister Augustine Pehe Gafuan and his team were here to brief the cabinet and members of the government and other agencies of the current status of the country's portfolio financially, especially also talking about where we're going this upcoming fiscal year. The Minister of Finance team presented a picture on where we are currently, what challenges we have, and how we can move to the next budget year. And that presentation was made. And to just quickly let the public know, there was a conversation around the current cash position of the government and our current debt situation or debt portfolio, both domestic and external debt, our fiscal responsibilities, and there was a forward-looking, and the team from the Liberia Revenue Authority, LRA, were also here to paint a picture on where we are, the possibilities, the prospect, what we need to do to be able to get the necessary resources and institutions, government institutions that are raising resources, the potential revenue that have been raised so far, and others who haven't, and the encouragement to have them remit what is legally their responsibility. There was also a conversation on looking at the budgetary execution and the budget preparation stages and looking at where we are currently in preparation for the 2025 fiscal budget. So those were the key conversation around where we are. We had agencies making key comments and talking about their own revenue generation portfolio or possibilities, where they stand, what challenges that they have, and those activities and actions that have put some burden on them, but how the plans that they have to ensure that there's some form of balancing. In a general context, I can say we're in a good place. But the financial team, they're working very, very hard to ensure that the country is stable financially, especially so with all the different support that are needed and all the different strengthening of the fiscal policy, the plans that they have, and some actions, drastic actions that needs to be taken so that we're able to be strong enough to be able to get resources, but more so to execute them. But one key takeaway today is that the conversation for the 2025 national budget, majority or key portion, is to ensure that the arrest agenda, particularly the road pillar, is strengthened. This is to say that uh, there will be focus or key attention on road project coming to the 2025 national budget. So the meeting, the cabinet meeting continues tomorrow, and we will hope to see all of you coming back here and we're able to update you on the discussion. So thank you. I will take a few questions you have. Yes.
While the cabinet meeting was about to start, news were running on social media about the resignation of the commerce minister. Did the president speak about that too? Well, there was two persons that were linked to the situation from the Metis D, the head of RA and that of the former commerce minister. Um, was there anything like that addressed today during the meeting?
So I can say this morning when the president came home, he came from home. He came very early. He been having a very busy day. He started up his activities earlier today at the Cinco Palace for the LTA program, as I mentioned. And then after that, he came. So until the conference or the meeting was about to conclude, he had not received a full briefing of the resignation of Mr. Mudat. However, the Minister of State, the Minister of State for Presidential Affairs, they confirmed being in receipt of the communication from Minister Modad. So he will officially brief the president, and then should the president make any comment, take any further decision, that will be communicated and will officially communicate to you all. But as we speak, the president has not formally received the letter of resignation from Minister Modad. Any other question? Yes, there was a second question.
Well, I was talking about given the receipt.
About Mr. Gabaja. Like I said, this meeting today was primarily focused on the fiscal strength of the country, where the country is, and going forward to the next budget. But one key other takeaway is that all of the agencies are expected to provide or produce their report, the annual report, or to the extent to which they are now, the first stage or first phase of the report to the president, and that is due by the end of this month. And then towards the end of the year, the agencies are expected to send in the final report. So these were the key conversations happening today, and issues surrounding the resignation was being discussed here.
So, my name is Master. BC or the Liberia Broadcasting System. So, it's just for clarity, is this a special cabinet meeting or is it a retreat?
Say that again.
This meeting, this gathering, is it a meeting or is it a retreat? And how long? Because we've seen one day, you said tomorrow again.
It's a 2 days. It's a 2 days cabinet meeting. You can call it a retreat. It's just semantics. But when you take people can come and focus on working, because it's not just coming to present and give. So it's an engagement back and forth. Different agencies present, and tomorrow you will also be hearing CSA, the Civil Service Agency, to present a picture on where we are with the civil service, what are those challenges, because we know the civil service have been able to save the government of some monies, especially for those quote-unquote ghost names, people who were illegally taking pay, people who were not working but they were on payroll, so they've been able to block substantially certain number of people who purported to be employees of the government. So yes, they'll be making presentations as well as other agencies as well tomorrow. So yes, I mean, again, it's just a 2-day mini retreat, you may put it that way, because it's a working section. Like normally the meeting we'll have will be for probably a few hours, and then normally it's at the executive mansion. So today we are here, and tomorrow we're going to be here. So it's like a busy working section. You can call it a meeting or a retreat, but it's a working engagement.
So looking at the performance of cabinet ministers, is the president really impressed? Maybe for the past 6 to 7 months of the regime and those who he have maybe put into various positions, is he really impressed about their performances?
Well, I think it's a difficult thing to be general about the entire government, but I know the president is very impressed with some agencies, with some progress that they've made, and he's not very happy, I will put it that way, with others, with the slow pace. Some of them he named during the cabinet meeting and asking them to beef up their activities. There are some he say that you have to do this because, as we all know, there are key sectors that are close to the president's heart. When he started off, he talked about the issue of agriculture, and he takes this very seriously. And he's going to be going on Saturday to Rome, Italy, where he's going to be presenting a keynote message at the Food and Agriculture Organization program there in Rome, the FAO. And he will be there to talk again about agriculture and also have a key meeting with the Prime Minister, like have a bilateral, and also meet the Pope and make the case for the agriculture sector. And then, because agriculture is important, he sees that sector and puts his interest in that. The road, even now, yesterday, today, he talked about the issue of road. especially making sure that community roads, feeder roads, so that people can see the direct impact of the government. And he's been yesterday. He had a meeting with the Minister of Public Works and others. He had several meetings yesterday, and he insists on them to ensure that by the dry season, as they've promised, that there should be transformation in those sectors. So he can say, I mean, I wouldn't say that he's been a praising individual, but it's not a collective thing for all of them. But he knows there's some progress being made, there's some challenges, and he sees that and he tells them that they have to double up, buckle up, do their best, because he's not going to take anything lightly. And he's been very, very serious about that. And I'll just talk about the travel, because I know that most of you in the media have had key interest in all the president's travel. The president's travel. Well, as you know, the president, when he became president in January, he inherited a country that internationally there were some problems with our international image. And as a new president, you have to be able to introduce your plan, your agenda to the world, sell your platform, tell the people where you are. And if some of you who follow history, you will know that Liberia before now had a very strong image internationally. She was one of those countries that people in the region or countries in the region would troop to for their support, for their survival as a safe haven. They used to tell us that, oh, University of Liberia, for example, was one of the best. JFK was one of the best. This place was one of the best. And we, for a long time, have lost that image. And our president really, in the past government where they put this country, almost all of the institutions were broken down. The respectability on the international community was really down, or it was down. So the goal of the president in these visits is to rebuild that image, to bring Liberia back on the map, but more so to request investments, because most of these visits we've had, they're investment visits, and those investments are having returns. There are people who are coming to Liberia. There are people who have expressed interest in Liberia. There are people who are looking forward to coming to see Liberia and contribute in the different sectors. So there are visits that are very important, and they will help, because as a new government, you have to be able to engage your counterpart. You have to be able to put your country in a place that it should be respected. And the president, just when he was in the US, launched Liberia's bid for the UN Security Council, a non-permanent seat. In that particular seat, you know, Liberia is a founding member of the United Nations. And being a founding member of the United Nations is playing key role in the African Union and the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. And the president, when he spoke at the United Nations addressing the world, he did talk about the role Liberia can play to be on that seat. All of these actions, all of these initiatives, they're to put Liberia in the place of respectability so that people can respect our country once again, that investors can build that trust and say we want to invest, because he said this: the public sector, the government alone cannot absorb everyone, cannot employ everyone. So it must be how, and the best way will be to be able to make sure that private sectors, private businesses, private companies, private individuals come to our country and invest and expand the different sectors so that most of our people can have employment. So these visits, they're not just a wastage of extravagance or how other people have turned it, but it's very important that he attends. And this meeting that he's going to in Italy, he's not going on a merry-making mission. When the president goes to these different places he's gone over these few months, he's very busy. It's one meeting to the other, one engagement to the other, one bilateral to the other. And these meetings and bilaterals will bring return to the country. So I just want to let you know, media friends, when we're talking about these issues, let us try to engage and ask the critical question and not just be blanket about things. So as he's going to Italy, he's going to make the case again for Liberia. He's going to talk about agriculture, Call out investors, meet private individuals who can come and invest in Liberia, engage with the Pope, engage with the Prime Minister, and engage with others. So let us really educate and inform the public that the president's engagement is not just in vain. He's not someone who loves merrymaking. In fact, when he goes to his visit, he's barely out. If it's from one meeting, he's back to his hotel and he's resting, he's reading, he's following up. That's the president we're having. We're not having someone who will go to a movie theater or go sit to some sports stadium or just go and watch games. Yes, he loves soccer. Sometimes he put his TV on in his living room and see if Arsenal is playing, but that's just about it. So he's always very busy, even on those meetings. I can tell you, when he went to China, Asia, he was very busy meeting the prime minister, sometimes when the president is traveling, even the transit, in transit, he's following up. He's reading what's happening. He's seeing the papers. We're giving him update on what's happening in the country. So let us understand that we have a president who cares about our country and he's willing to make this country work. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow.
All right, folks. So that was the voice of Madam Kula Fufana, the presidential press secretary. So it's been a whole day since this morning. We've been here, and I've been here with Sylvester Chuble, and Damon is off now. So Sylvester and I've been here. We've been covering this retreat, and I think we will make few comments, and then we will say goodbye. Yeah. So Sylvester. All right, so this is how we come to the end of this broadcast. And once again, I'm Joel, it's your show, and Sylvester has been here with me. Thank you for following. Bye bye.